2025 brought stories that shaped communities and made headlines across Oregon. Thanks for joining us on New Year's Eve. I'm Samantha Cadera, and this is Oregon News Now, top stories of 2025. Over the next half hour, we'll highlight the year's most significant and talked about stories, from breaking news and natural disasters to events that made national headlines. Now let's take a look at sky cam footage from early February, a story that quickly gained national attention. After days of heavy snow across southern Oregon, the roof of the North Medford High School gym collapsed. The snow was initially believed to be a major factor, but investigators would later determine it was only a minor contributor. This became one of the most talked about stories of the year, not just here in Medford, but across the country. Despite the dramatic collapse, no one was seriously injured. Rocky Walker takes us back to the moment the roof came down.
This was the moment the roof of the gym of North Medford High School collapsed. Crews were already on scene due to 3 of the roof's support beams breaking earlier in the morning, and it's only continued to crash down further.
And I started hearing like a train noise behind me, and you started to see debris flying up out of the top of it.
Crews were working alongside the building when it crumbled, with men on the crane mere feet away from the roof. The roof collapsing with so much force, pushing a mechanical supervisor against a door, scraping his knees. While no injuries were reported, he has been taken to the hospital for continued checkup.
Those guys were in the danger zone and doing everything they could to get out of there fast, and anybody that was inside the fence assessing it basically pulled back.
While no one was hurt, they say the recent seismic upgrades and braces on the wall helped to keep the collapse from getting worse.
That reinforcement is likely what kept that wall from just fully collapsing.
And that could have injured a lot of people, because a lot of you guys were on the side.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we were in the hazard area there.
An independent investigation found the gym collapse was caused by structural failures in the roof beams, with snow only a minor factor. Poor glue bonding and overestimated wood strength were cited. Since then, a new indoor practice facility, the Field House, has opened for students using mostly insurance funds. Planning for a full gym rebuild is moving forward, with construction expected to take up to 2 years once it begins. And looking back at footage from last March, heavy rain caused widespread flooding across the region, damaging roads, buildings, and homes, especially in Josephine County. Rivers, creeks rose rapidly, pushing water into neighborhoods and leaving communities scrambling to respond. One elementary school was hit hard, with 4 inches of water surging into classrooms. But months later, students are back, and the community is rolling up their sleeves to recover. Sarah Crush shares how they're turning the damage into a chance to build back stronger.
First thought was, as soon as I opened the door, like water just came rushing out. It had been building up inside this building in particular, and it just came rushing out, and I was just like, oh, that's a lot of water.
8 months ago, an atmospheric river brought days of heavy rain across the region. At Fort Vanoy Elementary, water didn't just rise, it surged.
The irrigation behind the school had, the levee had started to overflow and started to come apart, and then all of a sudden it just went poof, and there it came. They were in the right place at the right time to make sure there was nobody in harm's way.
All of this happened on a Sunday when no one was on campus. Thankfully, that first warning came from Rural Metro Fire, responding to a stranded motorist nearby.
The school was built kind of in a floodplain. It's built very low, so we always experience some degree of infiltration with rainwater when it really, really rains. So with this storm situation that we had last year, we were anticipating it, but not to this level.
When the school closed, Principal Falkenhagen and Superintendent Valenzuela knew they were in for a challenge, getting the students back as soon as possible. Teachers doubled up classrooms, maintenance crews hauled gravel and debris. Families showed up with tools, trucks, and even backhoes to get a school that many community members grew up in ready for students to return. And by Wednesday, Fort Vanoy Elementary was open again.
Get 2 meals here. They get a lot of other resources when they're here. So when we're closed, they can't access those things. So not beyond reading and writing and all the things that we teach them here, the support is really important.
Classrooms may have not looked the same, but the students don't seem to mind.
We're trying to work with our design team and then our construction team on making it a little bit more resistant to flooding. We're really looking to next summer of 26, to do a full rebuild and flood restoration during that time.
And imagine waking up to find the ground under your home is shifting. That's what happened back in March to 3 families in South Eugene's Moon Mountain neighborhood. One house was unsafe, and crews believe heavy rain from the atmospheric river may have contributed as they raced to save the other 2. Madison Yeesh has the story.
Monte Vista Homes, the company that built these homes on Rockrest Street, says they're not entirely sure on the cause of the slide, but they have hired geotechnical engineers to evaluate the issue. Additionally, Moon Mountain is identified as having moderate to high landslide susceptibility. That's according to a map from the Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries. Now imagine waking up to find your house slowly slipping downhill. That's the reality for 3 homeowners here on Moon Mountain who have been forced to evacuate as crews race to stabilize the area.
In a little bit of, emergency work mode, with our first priority being, let's make sure the owners are not only, evacuated out of the house, but also taken care of and supported. It's extremely disruptive to have, a home one day and then to be displaced the next.
Crews have been on site at these Moon Mountain homes for over a week, working 10 to 12-hour days. Stabilizing the homes is the main focus, preventing further movement and more damage to the homes or nearby properties.
The bulk of our work here over the past 7 or 8 days it has been to focus on stabilizing the homes so that there is no future damage to the homes that are on the end.
Although crews are working to stabilize and reinforce 2 of the homes, the one in the middle will have to be demolished. Crews say that's planned to happen next week. In Eugene, I'm Madison Yeesh.
Oregon's 2025 wildfire season wrapped up October 17th with roughly 350,000 acres burned across our state, far less than the 1.9 million acres that burned in 2024. But many of us don't realize the work that goes into keeping our communities and forests safe. I went up into the air with the Oregon Department of Forestry to see what it looks like from above. Oregon's air attack crews fight fires from the sky before most of us even know that they've started. Their eyes in the air give ground crews a crucial advantage when every second matters.
I think actually the best way to think about it is like an air traffic control tower in the sky. So we provide the platform with all the radios. We're controlling them in and out of a fire and clearing them in to do whatever they're doing.
Pilots fly the aircraft that carries ODF air attack supervisors, giving them a stable platform to track fire behavior and command every move from above, coordinating helicopters, tankers, and crews on the ground all at once.
My job as a pilot is just to keep them safe, number one, and we're just kind of there monitoring all that to kind of help them keep track of everything that's going on.
For these pilots, working with ODF is more than a paycheck. Each mission carries the weight of protecting lives and the forests Southern Oregon depends on.
In this situation, we're protecting our natural resources, our forests that we all get to enjoy, but also sometimes people's houses and sometimes even people's lives.
This year, their goal is simple but critical, catching fires while they're still small before they have a chance to spread.
During a certain times of year, we may have hundreds of fires start every day, and they're getting put out by a whole network of hardworking people that we go find those fires, put them out early so you never hear about them.
I've been qualified now for, this is my 10th fire season as a qualified air attack.
From the ground to the sky, these teams share one mission: to protect Oregon's forests and the communities that call them home. Reporting in Roseburg, I'm Samantha Cadera. And now we turn to one of the most heartbreaking stories of the year, a tragedy that shook the entire state of Oregon. A deadly crash involving the Umpqua Community College softball team took 2 lives, injured others. Authorities say the driver of the other vehicle, Jonathan Dowdy, was impaired at the time and later faced multiple charges. Noah Chavez has the details from the crash site.
The ball team was traveling back from a game at the coast and was hit head-on.
Just a few miles east of Myrtle Point, the bus carrying the team was seen on its side, with members of the team being thrown from the impact.
Actually, Haven called us. It had to be a minute, if not seconds, after the accident.
Haven is a freshman on the inaugural UCC softball team. After being notified of the accident, her father drove out to the scene of the crash.
Looking at the scene, and it was pretty chaotic. There was flashing lights everywhere. There's probably 30 cop cars there. I did see the bus on its side.
She was in a state of trauma, but she was definitely somewhat calm. She was trying to navigate.
Tragically, freshman Kylie Jones and coach Jamie Strins did not survive the crash.
I was actually in the room with my daughter and her friends when they found out that the teammate had passed, and so that was pretty emotional. All of them were crying pretty hard, and it was just heartbreaking to know that, you know, a young teammate of theirs had passed away.
You know, I don't think anybody's injuries are minor when they've been through something like this, because there's the physical aches and pains, and then there's also the emotional, which we're focusing on right now.
The softball program led by Coach Strins is still in its infancy. Strins was working to grow the program for the future. Those impacted say the future of the team is even more important now because of her dedication to the team and her athletes.
You know, anytime a great leader passes, there's an invitation there to carry the baton and carry forth her legacy. So that's what I'm encouraging my daughter, and to encourage her team to just, you know, carry forth the legacy.
As of now, both one coach and a student athlete remain in the hospital.
This is a lot. It's a lot for young girls. You know, like I said, most of them are freshmen, and this is a lot to carry and walk through, and they need community.
In Douglas and Coos County, I'm Noah Chavez reporting.